Monday Ramble.
Hi, Roddy Tomble from Sun Racing, back with the latest Monday Ramble, where, of course, we do yet again discuss the weekend's action, of which there was plenty to talk about, including the return of Voracious. And I'm delighted to be joined by Betway's Chad Yeomans to discuss just that. Now, Chad, what was your take on the race in the Dick Hearn? Do you think she was quite clearly below her best, but it was a reasonably encouraging comeback, I thought, and she did what she had to do and she won.
Yeah, indeed. Do you know, when I watched the race for the first time, I did think, oh, she'll get beat 2 out. I thought she was just going to not get there, but she did. Her class prevailed, saw her prevail. Her class came through. And Sir Michael Stout will never send a horse fully cooked, 100% fit for their first run of the season. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of improvement in that. There was something in it that just told me that maybe she's not as good as what we first thought she might have been. And she's still quite lightly raced for a 5-year-old mare. There's obviously a reason she's quite lightly raced as being a 5-year-old mare, but there was something there that just made me think she would get beat against, if she came up against some of the better fillies, she wouldn't get close. Excellent ride on the second by Hollie Doyle on posted. Thought she came from off the pace, and she's really strong in the saddle, and we'll talk about her success in the Rosa Lancaster shortly. But the race was good, but I don't know, there was something missing there, Bully, for me.
Fair, it's interesting you say that, really, because I tend to take a slightly different view in the fact that she'd been off for almost nearly a year now, and she'd had a wind operation, and I thought the all late drift as well, so I actually thought she might well get turned over. And the way that she won, posted around a really, really big race, but she was never going to get past her. And for me, that was a very encouraging comeback, because I think she will come on plenty for that run. Obviously, as you say, she will need to if she's to trouble the best fillies in the land at the moment, the likes of Fancy Blue and the likes of, One Master and One Voice, that kind of thing. But, on her form of the Falmouth win last year, you'd expect her to improve again, wouldn't you, coming back from that? And I think, horses who do have a wind operation can take a couple of runs just to get that, get to their full level in terms of, in terms of their ability, because they've had a long time off, they've had an operation. It's not easy, it's not easy going for plenty of these fillies, and Sir Michael Stout is so good at improving them. So I'd like to think she will improve, and she'll absolutely have to if she's going to be a Group 1 filly again. But I'm pleasantly encouraged by that performance. So agree to disagree. Move on now to the Bet Victor Rosa Lancaster Stakes, Group 3 now. How many times have we said that Hollie Doyle is coming of age, because she has surely come now and past her age, whatever that means. Because she is a superb rider, one of the best around, male or female. I would say she's in the top 5, at least top 5, top 7 riders around now. She gave Extra Elusive a fantastic ride on her new retained job, beating Certain Lad, who you put up, I believe. Was that you, Chad, last week?
No,
No,
it wasn't me. I can't take the
point. Wasn't you? Sorry. There you go. And then Global Giant, obviously the hot favourite, was finished third. But Extra Elusive went on to win by 2 1/4 lengths. Front running, Chad. Do you think that made a difference?
Yeah, I do, actually. I thought it was just another really good ride. And I know we keep banging the same drum and saying she's brilliant, she's brilliant, she's brilliant. But she absolutely is. She is as good as anyone else out there. She's so strong, and she's so diminutive, so small in stature as well. And she's got such strength. Really good with her fractions, really good at getting horses to travel underneath her. She's just the all-round complete package. And not only that, she's really nice. She's really good for media friendly. She'll always speak afterwards and speaks really well and communicates well to the audiences. She's superb. She really is superb. I thought she was brilliant. Global Giant wasn't the horse that perhaps the betting suggested he was. Yeah. I was against Global Giant anyway. And naturally, for me, his lightly raced horses, when they get past 4 and 5, they've got more issues than anything else, and that's very, very telling. And it's hard for them to get to the level that we thought they were as 2 and 3-year-olds if they keep having these issues that keep recurring. There was another excuse. Apparently, the ground was looser than what it said in the description, which is what the connections of Global Giant had said. Zaki doesn't win often enough. I'd actually quite like Zaki in the race, but Zaki doesn't win enough, and it was another tame performance. Foxtel for Betway Ambassador Andrew Balding ran really well, travelled really well, but then found absolutely nothing for the 3rd time this season.
Maybe needs a wind up, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who am I to say? But potentially drop back down to a mile, and a quick run mile might suit more than 1 mile 2. I don't know. There's plenty of things, but so you'd have to question the form, but take nothing away from the winner on the day, best horse.
Yeah, I agree, completely agree. You've got to question that form. Jockey, I think, didn't really. I mean, he travelled well, kind of crept into it, and then I think the step up to a mile two, possibly at this stage of his career, isn't what he wants. Maybe I think he's a better miler. Foxtel, as you say, they found absolutely nothing, and then Briscoe and Cross Batten. I don't know what's happened to Cross Batten recently, but he's not the horse he was. And then you've got certain lad, Global Giant, who didn't handle the ground. So basically, in my opinion, Extra Elusive, he really only had one horse to beat in certain lad, and he's done exactly what he should have done, really. But I think I think that switch to front running and the steady pace, the fractions that Hollie set were perfect for the race. Yeah. And we saw all day at Haydock that front runners or horses that were prominent usually stay there, particularly at the weekend. And I think she did exactly the right thing. And change of tactics seemed to work. I think Group 3s are probably around about his level. I don't think he's much better than that. But you can't take anything for the winner, and he did it well. And yeah, showcasing the talents of the wonderful Hollie Doyle once again. It's great to see. Now we also had plenty of other races, including the Betway Sweet Solera at Newmarket. The whole card obviously sponsored by Betway. A really, really good day there on the July course, as it always is. Sweet Solera was won by a outsider, Star of Emirati. Now, Chad, what was your take on the race? How much do you think she benefited from racing on her own down the centre of the track?
Well, it's interesting, really. First of all, before we start, commiserations and condolences to the connections of Fly Miss Helen, who's fatally injured during the race. But looking at the winner, can take nothing away from her. I was actually with the owners after the race, and we were talking from a socially acceptable distance. And Kevin Stott came and spoke from over the rail, and he said when he felt her starting to pull out and lug right, so I wasn't going to argue with her, and I just let her go because I could feel she wanted to go forward. He said she'll definitely stay a mile. She loves this ground, loves quick ground. And she earned herself a quote with us for 50 to 1 for the 1,000 guineas. So she's actually shorter price for a classic than she was for a Group 3 this year. So there's a bit of something for her. I mean, the connection said, they're going to dream big with her. She's certainly improving with racing. I certainly think that she was given an enterprising ride, and she was ridden by Kevin Stott, who at the moment can do simply no wrong.
Very good rider.
He's riding out of his skin. And as of this morning, he's 11 winners from his last 39 rides in the last 14 days. He's really strong in the saddle as well. He really does get a horse going. The race was slightly marred by the fact that the favourite pulled up. There's another one to take out the race, and it's the one who finished one but last, Mere Green. I know I put Mere Green up before and actually lost no confidence in the horse. I think she'll now go for a nursery.
Okay.
And I think she's going to be very, very tough to beat. She travelled really, really well. The race kind of quickened and moved away from her. And she stayed on, and she was going on throughout the line as well. So I certainly don't think that you should give up on her. She'll certainly be winning races soon. But congratulations to the connection to Star of Emirati. She was a really good winner of the Betway Sweet Solera.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And it was a pretty shrewd piece of placing, I thought, from Kevin Ryan, because she had £13 to find with Dubai Fountain in second. She beat her a length and a quarter. So, I mean, the amount of improvement she's shown there. And Seattle Rock at a huge price, 80 to 1 in third. Yeah. The form is very difficult to weigh up, I think, because Danilova, who I actually quite liked for the race beforehand, didn't really win any sort of contest. And then you had Spirit of Bermuda, who won a Goodwood Maiden at the glorious meeting, and she was nowhere to be seen either. So Dubai Fountain, I think, is probably the solid yardstick you can look for in that race. And Mark Johnston, so I think she ran to her level. I think Star of Emirati probably just improved past her, and the turn of foot she showed blasting down the middle of the track was really pretty impressive, I thought. So I don't think that is a fluke, and I'd like to see her again soon. Maybe stepping up in class.
I tend to agree with that, Bully.
Yeah, absolutely. And on Sunday we had the Phoenix X at the Curragh, Group 1 for Colts and Fillies, won by the very impressive Lucky Vega for Jesse Harrington. 3.5 length winner. I know you've got some thoughts on 2-year-olds in general this season, haven't you, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, with no disrespect to any horses we've seen so far, but I'm yet to be convinced that we've seen the best of the 2-year-olds. I'm yet to think we've seen a classic winner. I do think the 2-year-olds we've seen so far, whilst we are into August, these are normally the 2-year-olds we'd have seen in April and May. These would have been the Royal Ascot 2-year-olds. And I think they generally don't go on to become the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. Looking at the horse who finished last, Ventura Tormenta finished last in the Phoenix. Now that horse won the, what was it, Robert Papin last time out, beating the Learjet. And there's just, I've just got to question it all. The one you could take out of the race is Steel Bull, who apparently smashed his teeth on the starting stalls and broke his teeth before the race. Now, I'm no horse dentist. I don't quite know how quickly they can come back from that. But he was still travelling really, really well 2 out. And obviously the pain got to him and the accident kind of caught up with him. But he ran a really nice race. I was impressed with the winner, the way the winner stretched clear coming into the final furlong. But again, the form to me won't stand up massively, and I certainly don't think there's going to be a classic one. I know these look like they're all going to be sprinters, and they look like they're all just going to be 2-year-olds to me, Bully.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Apart from the winner, I feel like Vega was very impressive. That Steel Bull story was horrible, wasn't it? Hitting his teeth on the starting gate. And I was saying earlier on, if you're a runner in a 100-meter race and you hurt your teeth, you wouldn't be running anywhere. And I think horses obviously don't feel it quite as much, but still, it's not going to help him run, is it? But yeah, I thought Lucky Vega was very impressive, and I think he could be one for the middle park or something like that over in England, possibly later in the season. But we shall see. Anything else, Chad, on the day take your eye, or Saturday or Sunday?
There were two, actually, and two of the most intriguing contests of the weekend for me. One was the Newcomers Maiden for Colts at Ascot, and one was the Newcomer Maiden for Fillies at Newmarket. Starting with the Ascot Newcomer Maiden, Lana Cash was really well-backed favourite. Now, I always question whether I'm right or wrong. I'm sure there'll be someone who can watch this and tell me I'm wrong. But Ascot Maidens generally don't work out that well. Now, I don't quite know what it is, but I can't remember a really smart horse going on to become a really smart horse after winning their maiden first time at Ascot. I think Harry Angel might have done it a few years ago as a sprinter. I tend to crab Ascot Maidens, but this Lanakesh was really well backed, travelled so well, and then quickened. He looked the winner all the way through. I think there'll be a few of the winners from it. Andrew Balding's Spirit Mixer, who is by Frankel out of Arabian Queen, so by a Juddmonte winner out of a Juddmonte winner, which is sublime, almost unheard of. He was really green and he kind of found his feet a bit late on, but the winner was super smart. And in the Fillies version, the Betway Newcomers Maiden at Newmarket. Now, Wakening won for John Gosden and Her Majesty the Queen. The one horse that really caught my eye in the parade ring was number 8 from memory. It's called McGiven, trained by Adrian Keeley. And this horse just looked head and shoulders above the rest. I was surprised to see it 125 to 1. She ran a cracking race and finished 5th. She looked a really nice horse, and maybe she's not going to be as forward or mentally as forward as to get us to win, which she wasn't. But I'd certainly take her out the race more than any, and she looked like the scopiest sort out of the whole field. So I'd definitely be watching her wherever she goes next.
A couple of very interesting performances there. Indeed, I was taken by that call you talked about Ascot. I thought it was a really impressive performance, and the way that he went to post as well. He was very calm, like he already knew his job, and very, very easy winner. Quite impressive, I thought, as well. And another one to take out of the weekend in this hand Al Maktoum Silks was the Minzal, who won at Salisbury yesterday on Sunday. Really impressive for Owen Burrows. Barely came off the bridle to be, probably not strongest fields, but he couldn't have done it more impressively. There were 25 to 1, 33 to 1 second and third places, but I mean, he looks a proper smart colt for the future as well. So that was great to see too. And one other one for me that I really, really had to take out of the weekend was Al Rufar, who I know we chatted about last week ahead of Newmarket for John Gosden in those Al Shakab colours. But he was so keen throughout most of the race, and I thought he'd completely thrown the race away at halfway. Horses who were that keen barely ever put their full effort in towards the end of the race, but he quickened away really, really impressively. And that was a pretty hot handicap at Class 2 company. He's going to be rated over 100 after that. And he looks like an exciting one going forward. He's still quite lightly raced, so I'd look out for Al Rufar in the future as well. Great. I think that's it. Everything covered there. Actually, after all, it was a pretty interesting weekend's racing. As I was kind of saying beforehand that, only a couple of Group 3s and a few handicaps. So actually, it turned out to be pretty interesting with the likes of Voracious coming back and extra elusive with Hollie Doyle getting that winner on the board. So, Chad, thank you very much for discussing that in so much detail, as always. And, we'll see you all very soon.
Love it.